So look at here again. Just I want to give a quick, not a review also. So question like what is peer-to-peer? Second question, what is server and client? What is server and client? What is server? What is server and client? What is server? Okay. What is peer-to-peer? Different type of servers. Different type of servers based on what service it is providing, the protocols, applications, like that. So you can add anything into that. Next one is different server based operating systems, server operating systems, or whatever the word you can use it. Okay. Next, what is tower server, rack server, and blade server? Uses and advantages. Okay, comparison, some comparison, or at least the names. That's it, enough. Okay, so not required to do hard work in this point, but important is what is peer-to-peer, what is a server, what is server and client. Okay, what is server and client. The next one is, now we'll start with the workgroup and domain. I'll start with the workgroup and domain. So workgroup means like all our pieces, guys, individual pieces. We are all in the workgroup only. We are all in the workgroup only. Okay. How do you know you are in a workgroup? What if you are in a workgroup means what is your PC? Okay. The first thing is, yeah, I will show you. You are in a workgroup or you are in a domain kind of stuff. So I will show you that one. So, but before that one, we are all individual pieces. Means I have a laptop. My laptop has an administrator, right? I have my own admin account is there. Who is my admin? The first user, the user in my PC is the administrator automatically. Is my user, admin user in my PC. Or maybe you can try so I'm going to settings, or you can go to control panel also, accounts, your account, your info. See, this is administrator. You can see it's a administrator. This account is a administrator. Okay. So I have my own administrator. I want to install some application in my PC. I use that account. I can install application. I want to uninstall an application. I want to change some settings. I want to do some changes in settings. I have a account in my PC, administrator account. I can do with it. And where is this admin account or a user? I have a user. Where is this user information stores? In the same PC. Where is this user information stores? In the same PC. Okay, for example, okay, sorry. For example, here you can see Saujanya. The third name is easy, but I am taking Saujanya. Okay, is the account in a PCB. This is my PCA. My account is here. Okay, and this is Saujanya PC. Saujanya account is there. And where is this account information store? In the PCB only. PCB only. Password. Password. So username and password. So you want to log into your PC, you put your name. Already name is there. Then you put a password, right? So you enter the password. Where is this password information stores? In this PC only. Who will verify the username and password? This very PC only. And the administrator. Okay, this this user can able to control this PC, right? So user controlling the PC kind of stuff. So installation of applications, changing of settings, installation of applications, okay, uninstallation of applications, okay. Everything can be done by this user account only. And which PC? In this particular PC only. So this is a basically workgroup type, okay. And it is we are not depend upon any centralized kind of stuff. No separate server is controlling our PCs, installing some applications, or doing some password kind of stuff. It's not there. I have another PC, so CPC. So as I will take a Rani account. Rani. So account, I don't know the names. Okay. So is a user here and password also stored here. Who will authenticate by CPC? So this is the account in the CPC, means user information is here, password information is here, authentication done by here, and he is administrator. And obviously, if you want to install an application or do changes of settings, anything we can do in this PC only. For example, Saujanya want to control this CPC, cannot. Or Rene want to log into this PC, cannot. Okay, but individually they have administrative power. Okay, here it is a decentralized administration. What is a workgroup? Means it is a decentralized administration. No centralized controller. Every PC has their own administrator. Every PC or a system has their own administrator. Is there? They have their own local administrator. Exactly, say local administrator. Okay, the PC's user information, password informations, and settings stored in their own PCs only. Okay, so this user information stored in this PC, but not in this PC. Okay, can control, manage individually. We can each and every PC controlled or managed individually. So I want to do settings in the CPC. How to go to CPC with the CPC admin account? I can able to do changes or policies or anything I want to do. I have to go to that individual PCs. Administrate individual PCs. Administrate, manage, control individually, but not centrally. Okay. Next one is, guys, one user account cannot log into another PC. One user cannot admin other PCs. For example, Latif can administrate a PC, but not log into BPC, but not administrate BPC or CPC kind of stuff is not there. So this is all a workgroup kind of stuff. Of course, workgroup having another few meanings are there, but simply say for initially to understand in the domain and workgroup manner, workgroup do not have any centralized control. No centralized control. It is a decentralized administration. Each individual PCs, see it is, I have a 5 PCs. Each PC has an account like a Akash, Kirti, Deepak, Mansi, Arvas. Okay, each PC having a individual accounts. Each account. Okay, so each user like Akash is a admin of PC1, is a local administrator of a PC1. So you can change the settings, you can give permissions or install applications, uninstall application, anything you want to do it, you can do it. Akash user information, password information, and login authentication also done by PC1 only. Means user information, password information, and stores in PC1. When user is log into PC1, like Akash is log into PC1, PC1 authenticate Akash. PC1 authenticate Akash. Okay, so Akash cannot administrate PC2. Who will administrate PC2? Kirti. Who will administrate PC3? Deepak. Mansi user information stored in PC4 can able to log in into PC4, but not in a PC3. Okay, so that is the point here. Next, we have to go tell the other kind of stuff. Means you have to administrate individually. You have to go to each and every PC and you have to do the settings. You want to do the settings, you have to do the settings. You want to control certain things, you have to control individually. Like I want to give an IP. No. So, for example, I want to install an application. I have to go to each and every PC and install the application, not centralized administration. So when I say I have to go to each and every PC means if you are in an organization, in the organization, not one PC, right? Several computers are there. Not a one computer, several computers are there. Each individual computer is a work group computer. Its meaning is you cannot control them centrally. So you have to go to each and every PC and tell what to do with it. So what are the settings you want to do it? What is installation, uninstallation? So you can do it. DPC. Okay, for example, it's another PC like Tarun. So this is another PC. Again, individual administration only. No centralized control. You have to administrate or do settings by going to each and every PC. That is the point here. Next, here it is. If you look at 4 computers, no problem. 4 computers you can easily manage. You have 10 computers, of course, 10 computers easily manage. I have a 30 computers in a lab. No problem. I can manage 30 computers. We have 2 labs, 30 plus 30 computers. No problem. It's not even 60, but little less or more in the 60 computers. Still, I can able to manage 60 computers. No problem. We got some rented computers, additional computers. Okay, so no problem. I can manage. Not very big deal because we install operating system. We have a DHCP server to give an IP addresses. That is it. Then no other centralized controllers. Every PC having some user account, so then they will log in with that one. Okay, no problem. But still, it is increasing in the organizational level. More number of computers are there, so you cannot go to each and every computer and you cannot do the settings like maybe a firewall setting. Setting means it can be a firewall setting. It can be a some thing like yeah, if you see my screen background, it's a default background, no problem. Some people put some type kind of pictures, puppies, flowers, some skeletons, or some cars kind of stuff, right? So no, I want everybody should have a in their background company logo. Okay, for example, Savantis company. Savantis logo, everybody should have a Savantis logo with some motivation or something like about a Savantis. You have to keep your, not like your mobile phone, your favorite photo, or maybe your photo, or your girlfriend photo, boyfriend photo, or maybe some parents photo, God's photo. Not like that. So it is a company laptop or a company desktop. You should maintain this company logo only in a background. Then The point is, guys, if in case you have a 10 computers, I can check each and every PC. I can change the desktop background setting. I have 100 computers, 200 computers, 500 computers. It is very difficult to go and do the settings, right? Second one is, if one of the desktop is down, for example, my first desktop is down, okay, so which is used by user, this user. Now, user information, user settings, user passwords are stored here only. He cannot log into any other PCs, so work will be stopped. Even there is a system is free, means no one is sitting there. Still, you cannot use it because of your user account and password is not there. But someone's username and password is there. Like as I said, in a classroom, in my lab, no problem. Why? Because of each PC have a one single username and password only. One account only, student account, student one and password. That's it. Student 1, 2, 3, 4. I created a usernames and passwords only. So every PC has a only one or two accounts. Anybody can be able to use it. All passwords are same. But in organization, we have to give separate individual. I have my own account should be there. I cannot use others account. So for example, I cannot use a Ruxana madam account or a Madhu sir account or a Sai sir account. I can't use their account to log in into their PCs, into the PC. Okay, I need my account in that one. So individually, we don't have that account like that. Okay, so once a PC is down, you cannot log into any other PCs. Okay, then in generally also you cannot able to log into any other PCs. You cannot. You have to go to each and every PC to do the settings. Like we can manage individually, but we cannot manage centrally. It is very difficult in work groups. Number of PCs increases, very difficult to manage. So then it comes to the domain. If in case your PC is in the domain, now I will show you one thing, guys. That is, look at here. I'm going to settings. In the settings, go to system. We are individual PCs. So by default, you are in the work group. Okay. And we are in the Windows 10 home, 2 points. We are individual PCs. I have my own laptop. You have your own laptop. We are all by default. We are in the work group name called work group. Okay. We are by default work group name called work group. So under home, sorry, not home, setting, system, scroll down, about. So what is about means? We can see your system configuration, of course. Recently, I have done update last week, 22H2. Okay, here it is. Rename this PC advance. You want to rename your computer, you can rename from here and as well as here also, but I'm going here, rename this PC advance. So you can see, look at here. You can see work group name is work group. Work group name is work group. You can click on change. Then you can see here it is my computer name, member of domain, and member of work group. Number of work group, number of domain. Okay, I remove all the things to get a more look better way. Not it is. Okay, no problem. See, it is member of your PC is a member of domain or a work group. Currently, I'm in a work group. I'm work group PC. I'm not in the domain. You can see that this is a domain. And if you see, it is a gray color. Why gray color? I'm a Windows 10 Home Edition. Windows 10 Home Edition cannot join into the domain. Remember that point, guys. Windows 10 Home Edition does not have lot of features. One of the feature is one of the feature which is not there is it cannot join into the domain. It cannot join into the domain part. So I am a Windows 10 Home. I cannot join into the domain kind of stuff. So that's why it is grayed. You cannot able to click this one. The original one also like this. You cannot able to click it. Okay, guys. Member of work group, member of domain. Once you are go to member of domain with a domain name, once you given a domain name.com, so and click OK. For example, you have a server, domain controller is there, domain controller server is there. You have a server called a domain controller, and we have a domain now. So you have to go to this domain option, domain name, click OK, and then it will ask for authentication. It asks for authentication. So you are got authenticated. Then it will go to join into the domain. It will authenticated by domain controller. Now it will be you are in the member of a domain. Okay. So again, I'm telling guys, you have a domain. Means you have a domain controller. Domain controller is nothing but a server. Domain controller is nothing but a server. So you have a server. It's a domain controller. I will tell about that one separately, but it is a server domain controller. You have your own PC. Earlier it is a work group. Now you change like a member of domain and you put your domain name. Click OK. It asks for authentication. Give the authentication kind of stuff. Means give the username, password kind of stuff. Done authentication. Then you will join into the domain. You'll join into the domain. Now you are a member of a domain. You are a member of a domain automatically. Okay. Once you are a member of a domain, then you are in the domain environment. Okay. So what is this domain? You guys understand this part, second part, both work group and joining to the domain. Work group from work group to domain. Guys understand work group at least?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll see the domain means what it is. See, these are individual pieces. C1, C2, C3, C4, C4, C5, C6 pieces are there. Okay. I will draw again if you want to see more drawing kind of stuff. Okay. These are individual pieces. Okay. Yeah, you can put a name like a PCA, PCB kind of stuff or any other name also. You can put it. Just for our understanding, we are doing this one. Of course, guys. So I will share. I said I will give you one link. So I will search and I'll give you the link. So you have to watch it from like it is almost like a more than 1 hour video, of course. So the video is 2 separate parts. So here also you can type it like this. More famous one it is not famous. I share to everyone. Yeah, how to if you search like that you don't get mine. So you will get mine by giving my name in front of it. So here it is. So much of explanation, not that one. This is the one. Okay. workgroup and domain, I split it into two parts. Okay, the second part. Okay, you have to start with second part. First part is an explanation of what is workgroup and domain. The second part is practical part. Now I'm explaining anyway. Now I'm explaining anyway. Theory part, right? So what's the second part? What is the second part again, guys? Look at here. It is about how to join a client to domain. How to join client to domain. How to create a user in the Active Directory user. And how to log in with that user. In case you got a service ticket, like a user is asking you like how to reset a password. Then I showed how to reset the password. Like is requesting, please change my password. My username is this. I forget my password. Please change my password. Then how to reset the password. And there is one practical is a group policy practical also. It means this single one video will covers how to join to the domain. Domain controller creation not given. Okay, and it is already I have created earlier. If you want, you can watch in different. I have other B17, B16, B15 batch videos are there, so then you can go for it. Okay, so but this particular video is mainly how to join into the domain, okay, and how to create a user in the domain controller, how to create a OU, how to create a user is showing. So OU explanation is there, user creation is there. How to log in with a domain user in the client PC, how to log in with the domain user in the client PC. Next, how to reset that user, and group policy, at least one group policy, how to control kind of stuff. That is group policy part also explained here. I told to every batch, so most of them may not watch, I don't know, but we have seen up to here 77 views from last 11 months. Okay, so but so try it and give me some feedback if you want it. Like you don't understand, then also I will explain it once more again. But this is very good with this practical part. I'm directly copying from the chapter 2. Okay, so this WhatsApp thing is open and it will take time. But meanwhile, I will give you this link to you in a chat box. You can copy from here. If possible, I will share it through WhatsApp. Okay, so this is the video I am sharing. Once it is up, and then I will share other one. So again, guys, so look at here. This is a individual pieces earlier. Now it is not. So this is my PCA, PCB, PCC, PCD, PCE, for example. Okay. Now I have a domain controller. I have a domain controller is my server. I have a server. The server name is domain controller. Okay, sir. This is a server. It's a server. Just domain controller is nothing but a server. Yeah, what I'm writing also. It is a server. It is a domain controller. DC. Okay. It manages a database. This domain controller maintains a Active Directory database. Is maintain an Active Directory. It is a Active Directory domain services. Active Directory database. What is this database contains? User information, computer information, groups, resources in the domain in the domain. And this Active Directory maintains a database like a user database, computers, resources, groups, and services. Okay, so mainly user and computers. Up to now, so user and computers. at least. Next, this Active Directory also do authenticate users when they log into PCs. So here it is. This APC is joined into the domain. A is joined into the domain. Already I showed one screen, right? So there is a member of workgroup. Earlier it is a member of workgroup. Now it is a member of domain. Member of a domain. A joined into the domain. Then in database under computers, A computer, B is also joined, C is also joined, D is also joined. Okay, or maybe you want a line. C is joined and D is also joined into the domain. A, B, C, D. Only 4 computers are joined into the domain. Now I am the administrator. I am the administrator of this domain controller. So I am administrator of domain. So I can administrate A, B, C, D. I can administrate all these pieces. So I can do settings. I can change settings. I can install. I can uninstall it also. Okay. So I am the administrator of all the pieces. Centralized administration. And I created a users in this Active Directory database. Like a username is like a user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, user 6, user 7, or user 8, like this. User 9, user 10, like created as some users. My wish to create number of users are based on number of employees working in my organization. I'll create user. Like you join into the organization. So you are now in training. Now next is interview. Next after interview, onboarding process. Once it is completed, you are joining, right? Once you are joining, means at a joining process time only. So once you are joining process completed, so they will create a account for you in their databases. User account, email account, salary account, like the different accounts are there. So this they will create a access login account and email account will be created. Okay, whatever it is. So user 1 is login here now. I didn't create a user 1 in APC. I create a user 1 in the centralized PC. In domain controller, I created a user account. In domain controller, I created a user account. In in domain controller, I created a user account name user 1 and I'm logging to APC. I log into APC. Now what will happen? So we'll see. This request go for a TC computer, domain controller. When you are trying to log in a APC, like you put a username and the password, but APC does not have information about user 1 and user 1 password. As I said earlier, guys, Akash is trying to log into PC1. Akash information, Akash password information, user information, password information in PC1. So PC1 authenticate Akash. But in this user 1 information, user 1 password information is not in the PCA. Who is having this user and password information? In the server. Right? So what it will happen? The user account will be authenticated by server only. Even the user is trying to log into A, but request go to the server. Server authenticates user. Similarly, user 2 is log into BBC. Like this. So one question, guys. So user 2 log into PCB, 3, 4 is in the DPC. User 5 can able to log into EPC or not? Tell me, is user 5 can able to log into EPC or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How?
With
It meaning
username and
is
password, sir.
it meaning is no one is listening. Very good. Not at all understanding anything. No problem, no problem. Guys, that's what I'm trying to say. If you don't get it, no problem. It's not a college. Okay. Look at here. So I came back to the previous point, guys. Okay. I have 5 computers in the same network. Network means IP address wise they will communicate each other. That's the only IP address. Okay. And I have a server which is called as a domain controller. Which is called as a domain controller. This domain controller maintains the domain. Okay. For example, my domain name is domain1.com, contaso.com, example.com. Anyone I can put it. My domain name is domain1.com. Here in this example. In this example, I have taken a contaso.com. Okay. This is my domain name. I went to APC. This is a domain controller, main administrator kind of centralized server. I went to APC. I join into the domain. So I said I want to join into the domain kind of stuff. So simply I will go to my settings, system, about, rename this PC. See, I click on change. Select a member of domain here. I have to select a member of domain here. Give the domain1.com. Then click OK. And it asks for a authentication, username, password kind of stuff, like admin password kind of stuff. Then give it. Then your PC will join into the domain. Okay. Now A is a member of domain. Once any PC, like a same I will do, I will go for a PPC. Same thing I will do it, and then I will join into the domain. Okay. So now those computers are in my domain. Those computers are in my domain. That will be stored in my database. That will be stored in my database. Means the computers, though those computers are in my domain, that computer information stores in the domain controller database. That is called a Active Directory database. That is called a Active Directory database. Contains information about users and computers and resources, groups, services part. Resources means other than like a computer is a resources, but I'm adding a one resource here like a printer. For example, just for example, I have a printer. The printer is, I add this printer called a P1. Printer name is P1. So that is also, once you are adding to the domain, it is also listed inside your Active Directory. Okay, so Active Directory maintain the database information about users, computers, resources, and groups, services also. Okay, mainly like this, users and computers first. Again, I'm telling those computers are joining to the domain. Join into the domain. It will be listed under database. It is went to the database. Okay. So this is APC, BPC, C are joined into the domain. Next, I creating a users in the server only. Earlier we create a users in individual PCs. Now we are creating a users in the server only, like user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, user 6, or user 7, user 8. Like this, we created some users in the Active Directory database. Means in the server, in the domain controller. Guys, understand these 2 points? First one is I add these PCs to server. Second, I create a users in the domain controller. Got the point or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where is user information? Where is the user information stored here in this?
Servers in server.
In the server. Very good. So the point is, user in the domain can log into, okay, user in the domain can log into any domain computer. User in the domain can log into any domain computer, or any domain user can log into any domain computer by default. Okay, until unless you put a setting restriction, but generally user in the domain can log into any domain computer. Now I try to log in to a PC with user 1, and I given a user 1 password. I type user 1 name and a password and try to log in. Then what happened? APC does not have information about user 1. APC does not have information about user 1, and it is in the domain. So what it will do? It send a request to the server. This user 1 is trying to log in. Please verify user account. The server verify is username is correct, password is correct. Yes, it is got verified, authenticated. So he can log in. Okay. So guys, 2 words are there. One is authentication. Second one is authorization. Authentication means verification of identity. Verification of identity. For example, you open a Gmail account. Okay, you put a Gmail username password. Okay, you put a username password. Then Gmail server verify your identity. First of all, it will verify your identity. So Google account it is. So I am using a one single Google account for a multiple Google services. Multiple Google services. Okay, one account for multiple services. So I have an account. I log in. So forget about multiple kind of stuff, but I have an account. Then who will authenticate? Google server is authenticated. My username and password is correct. That is called authentication. Now I'm accessing my email account. I'm accessing my mails. So that is called access. So my Google will give me an access permission to access my mail accounts. I want to access my docs. I want to access my slide kind of stuff, or maybe I want to access my other like a YouTube kind of stuff. Okay, so access permissions. Okay, giving an access is called authorization, authentication, and authorization. So user 1 first will authenticated by server when they want to log into a domain. Any computers in the domain computer, they put username and password. First, it will be verified by server only. Why server? Why not APC?
Because server having all the information of all the PCs, it is also the domain.
Very good. So server has a user information and their password information. APC does not have any information about user 1. Server has a user information and their password information. APC, BPC does not have user information and their password information. So compulsory it has to send to the server for verification. And APC information is also stored in server only. So it is allowed access or not allowed access will be decided by server only. Very good. Same. User 2 want to log into this BPC. Same user 3, user 4. So they try to log in. So what happened? Password, like for a password verification or user verification, they will send to this server only. Recently, I asked one question, that is, I want to log in with this. I went to EPC. I put user 5 and it password. Is it my server going to authenticate or not? Can I log in with this user 5 in EPC or not? No means why, yes means how.
Yes, sir. You can, sir.
We can log in with a user 5 means how?
By sending request to the server and server authenticate, and if it approved, then we can log in.
Very good. So first of all, we'll verify. First of all, it has to send to the server, right? Which server? This server. Which domain? This is the domain. And this EPC is not part of that one. To do that one, EPC is not part of your domain. Can you see in your domain database, E information is there?
No, sir.
Okay. So EPC does not know about where is the domain controller. EPC does not know anything about a domain controller. And this user information not in EPC. It has to verify with the domain controller, and it does not know about anything about a domain controller. It's not part of domain controller. Both are in the same network, but not in the same domain. It is logically separated. So it cannot log in. It cannot log in. It is a domain means a logical administrative boundary. Within this boundary only the domain works. Outside of the boundary, it does not work. The boundary does not mean it is a physical boundary, it is a logical boundary. Again, why logical boundary? Boundary, why put a boundary means those are member of the domain, they are working with the domain. Simply guys, you are working in an organization. I am working in a 70s. 70s put a one rule. Monday to Friday working, Saturday, Sunday is leave, and every Saturday if you work, he will give you 100 rupees. Okay, for example, it is not there. Even I worked a lot of Saturdays, and they are never given any kind of stuff. Okay, so nothing like okay. Okay, now here I can see that rule, like what is the 70s rules applied on a 70s employees, right? Whatever the CTS rules applied on a CTS employees only. CTS rules not applied in 70s employees. 70s employees rules not applied in a CTS employees. Okay. So how it is? I am belongs to this domain. you are belongs to another domain, like separate. Some are not belongs to any domain and stuff. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, power cut is there. For example, power cuts, frequent power cuts. For example, like every day morning 2 hours power cut is there. For example, just for example, it's not there, but now, okay. So morning every day morning 8 to 10 power cuts are there. So geographical application. Sorry, not this one, not this one. Actually, one example is like a company. One example that is we can understand. Next one is political party example. Also, will tell. Okay. That's two examples are there, guys. Maybe you got the point now. Point is, if you are not belongs to the domain, you are not getting anything from the domain. Means user authentications, group policy effect. Okay, this kind of stuff not applied on you. Those who are listed under domain controller will affect with that one only. So. Okay. Guys, understand this point, last point, logical administrative boundary, user part.
Yes, sir.
Very. See, it is in the work group, Akash cannot log into PC2 or PC3 or PC4 or PC5 because Akash account is in PC1 only. Okay, only in PC1. But here, the user information stored in central PC in the server. So these users can able to log into any PC. For example, now morning shift, user 1, user 2, user 3 log in here. Afternoon shift, user 4, user 5, user 6, user 7, user 8 log in like this. Next day, next shift means next day, user 1 want to sit in another place. It is user 1 want to sit here. User 2 want to sit here. User 4 want to sit here. User 2 want to sit here. They change the places. They don't change the computer. They change the login to different computers. Okay. So a user can log into any PC in the domain. In general, by default, a user can log into any PC in the domain. Okay. Any PC in the domain. Okay. So that is one point. Okay, so no boundary because user information is not stored in the local PC, it's stored in the central server only. The last point, guys, I took a lot of time on this one, so I hope you got the point. No problem, no problem. So, but if I take more time, you will get a bore and you will forget. That's the point. Okay, so next one is group policies. As I said, individually how to do the setting, it is very difficult, right? If you have a 4 computer, 10 computer, no problem. You have 100 computers, 200 computers. Individual maintenance is difficult. Okay, so you create a group policy in the server, applied to this computer wise or user wise, you are applied. Then these policies will be applicable to each and every device. That too within this group only, within this logical boundary, not to outside of our logical boundaries. Again, the group policies, through group policies, we can apply various settings like a firewall settings. You can deploy an applications, you can install applications. We can do network related settings like a firewall related settings, you can do it. Desktop related setting like I have I already told background, desktop background kind of settings. Okay, or maybe I create a lot of icons in my desktop, right? So I put a company policy, right? User should not store any data on the desktop. Okay, now that is the setting. I push this setting, so if anybody is trying to put the data on the desktop, so they cannot put it. It does not agree. Like you don't have administrator rights. Contact your administrator. It will throw error. Contact your administrator. So this is disabled. This disabled by the administrator. Contact your administrator. For example, I install an application that shortcut is created on desktop. It won't be created. It won't be created. Yeah, it's another tip, guys. Do not put more data on your desktop. Either it is a direct data or shortcuts. Either it is application shortcuts or it is a direct data. Do not put on your more on your desktop. If you have more shortcuts means application related shortcuts are there. Then keep all the shortcuts into one single folder and keep it aside. If it is not frequently used, applications are there. Even I have this shortcuts are showing here. I have a shortcut folder. See this is a shortcut folder. When I start my computer, this shortcut folder, what are the content in the shortcut folder does not process immediately. So I open, it is processing. It is trying to display what it is. So it is contains some shortcuts. These are all shortcuts were put it on my screen. My screen is full. Okay, so that is the point here. You can put some shortcuts here. See Notepad++, not used frequently. Put it in these shortcuts. Very simple. Okay, so it will reduce certain things on the screen. Even SQL plus developer is there. It is not required every time. The pen tablet is not required every time. This zimming I used so many years back. Okay, I am not using currently. Not required currently also. So I can remove this one. Okay. It is taking time to copy also. I think accidentally I click on this Win SCP upgradation. No, I'm not doing any upgradations. Not opening anything. See this? I created a shortcut folder. I copy these things into this. Not open. Yeah, move. Okay, you have to move it. So then only on the screen things will be reduced. Like so many we don't use it in real in daily. Daily we don't use it. Like Git daily we don't open. I opened the Git thing directly by using some shortcuts. So like if I use this one, I use open directly from here. I don't open from here. So you can remove that shortcuts from your PC. So what happened when you start your computer? Once system is booted, then it will show your screen, right? So when it is showing a screen, again the screen thumbnails should be processed. Again, for your getting a proper experience, like a great experience kind of stuff, the data of file based on the data of file or type of file and shortcut of the file, it try to do the processing of your thumbnail related information, application related information. It's try to process and show on your screen. The more data on the desktop is slow down your PC. Next one is the more shortcuts on the screen is also slow down your PC. Okay, so initial performance itself it is a slow. Okay, so that's the point. See insurance, I'm not having any Apple kind of stuff. It is not at all required. So better to copy into things. Now, when I upgrade my VLC media player, it is on the lap on here and as well as here also there. Means because when it is updated, new desktop icon is created. Some are not required, some are required. For example, VMware Workstation frequently used. This is frequently used. This is frequently used. This is not used. Just to know, like I'm a GitHub candidate kind of stuff on it. Okay, so it is also throwing something, but that is the point, guys. Yeah, I told one other story, but we'll back to our story. What is the story? Here it is. Guys, what is a domain? Centralized administration. So workgroup is decentralized administration, means each and every PC administrated separately. No centralized control in the workgroup, but in a domain, centralized administration, it is a centralized controller, is called a domain controller, is a server. We have a centralized controller called a domain controller. So something is open here, WebEx, not required. Okay, you have a centralized controller. Centralized controller called a domain controller is nothing but our server. Domain administrator is administrator of all systems in the domain. All systems, all users. For everyone, domain administrator account is a administrator, not individual PCs. We don't have a individual administrator for individual systems. We have a centralized administrator for every system. Various type of settings, we can enforce various type of settings to large number of users and computers in the domain using group policies. Guys, group policy definition is, this is the more accurate from the Microsoft. Okay, this is from Microsoft, all are Microsoft. So enforce various type of settings to large number of users and computers. See, I can enforce the various type of settings to the multiple computers and users through group policies. Okay, that is a group policy actually. User information, computer, group, services, resource information stored in the centralized server. In the centralized server, it stores. So what is a centralized server? Is domain controller. Domain controller maintain the Active Directory database called NTDS.DIT. A user in the domain can able to log into any of the domain computers, not outside of the domain, but any within the domain he can log into any PC by default. Again, guys, the question is, what is workgroup? What is domain? What is the difference between workgroup and domain? Workgroup is decentralized administration. Each PC has their individual account inside each user information, password information stored in their own PCs. Okay, no centralized control, no centralized policies applicable on these servers. Once a user, one PC user cannot log into other PC user. User information, password and their settings, everything stored in their own PCs. You can manage individually but not centrally. More number of devices increases, it is difficult to administrate the individual PCs wise. Okay. What is a domain? Again, it is a centralized administration. There is a centralized administrator or centralized controller is there. It is a domain controller. In our place, we call it as a domain controller. It is nothing but a server. This domain controller contains the information of a users, computers, groups, and resources in the database called Active Directory database. Okay. A domain administrator is an administrator of all systems in the domain. It can enforce various type of settings to the large number of users and computers in the domain called group policies or through group policies. A user in the domain can log into any of the domain computer. Okay, these are the work group and domain. Guys, again, difference between work group and domain. Work group is a decentralized administration, domain is a centralized administration. Okay, every PC has their own administrator, and in a work group, in a domain, we have a domain administrator is an administrator for all systems in the domain. Okay, we can manage individually, not centrally. It is a centralized administration, and we can enforce various type of settings through to the large number of users and computers using group policies. Okay, one user cannot able to log into other user PCs, but here it is users, groups, computers, information stores in the centralized server, and users can log into any of the domain computers. User can log into any of the domain controllers in the domain. Whatever it is, guys, sorry. So there's one point I'm missing. Yes, it is. There are more number of PCs are difficult to manage. Of course, large number of devices increases. Also, you can able to manage easily. Okay. Of course, guys, we are individual PCs like either home or maybe in the organization level. If limited number of computers, we don't require domain controller kind of stuff. But if it is a large number of computers, large network, large number of computers and large network, so we required a large number of network, large network, large number of PCs. Okay, so we required a domain controller because of difficult to administrate individually, so we can administrate centrally using domain controller. I hope you got the difference between workgroup and domain part. Guys, understand what is workgroup and what is domain? Differences. You have to practice. What is workgroup? What is domain? Of course, I shared a link also. Where is your this is yours, right? So it is split into two parts. Okay, so it is totally 1 hour 33 minutes video. It is. This is a 1 hour 33 minutes video. So you can skip first 40 minutes. If you want to watch it from starting, also no problem. But you can skip the first 40 minutes, 45 minutes. From that one, almost like how to add it. Just watch it and tell me the review, or if you want a separate video for that one also, we'll try. Okay. In our condition, guys, I can't show you practical. You can't see the practical. You can't do the practical also. Okay. Lot of system support is also required. Okay. Last one in this one, guys. Here it is. I will continue. I will tell simple points here. Already we told. What is Active Directory domain? Guys, you got a question, what is a domain and workgroup? So you try in a Google, what is domain? What is domain in a Google? Then you'll get a different kind of answers. So like domain is something like this, domain is name, domain is IP address, domain is something like that. Okay. Domain is something, some company kind of stuff. So I'm not talking about it. I'm getting this kind of information, that too, because of our website, top level domains. So that kind of search, based on my previous search, I am getting this kind of information. So when you put a question, what is domain? Also you will get some kind of answers. Okay, see it is. See it is. It is may not be right. I'm not talking about it. But when you got a Workgroup and domain kind of stuff. What is the domain in that one? Compulsory check like a Active Directory domain. Okay. My definition is correct definition from Microsoft, but still you want another definition, you can go for a Active Directory domain, not just a domain, guys. Okay, please check it that. Here it is. What is the Active Directory domain? Or a domain is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. It means in the network there are several computers, servers, client computers are there. But in the domain, those who are belongs to domain, like a domain user, domain computer, domain resources, or belongs to domain, that is one logical administrative boundary. Domain user can log into that domain's computer, cannot log into other than that domain computer, right? That's it is a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Specifically I told the last computer I said now, it is not belongs to our domain, so we cannot log into that domain. Sorry, it is not belongs to, the computer is not belongs to our domain, so we cannot log into that computer. Okay, that's why it is logical administrative boundary of users and computers. I said AD domain. What is this AD, guys? Active Directory. ID means Active Directory. When you got a question, what is Active Directory? What is Active Directory? 2 points. You have to tell 2 points when you got a question, what is Active Directory? Importantly, 2 points. The first point is Active Directory database stores information or identity of users, groups, computers, services, resources. Or you can say like a Active Directory database stores user, group, computers, services, and resource information. And Active Directory authenticate users when they log into domain computers. Different ways to tell that one, guys. Different meanings also there. Okay, but it's a simple ways. You understand that one. A domain user can log into domain computer. Who will authenticate? Our domain controller. So we can say Active Directory authenticates domain users when they log into a domain computer. Authenticates. Or a user, when a user is log into a computer, so it will authenticate. So like in any 2-3 different ways you can able to tell, but find out which is more correct way and easy way. Okay, so I have written this users and computers when they log into domain. Okay, that is I have written like that. Okay, but user log into computer, domain controller authenticates. Actually, Active Directory authenticates a user is log into a domain computer. So again, 2 points, guys. What it is? What is an Active Directory? Active Directory database stores identity of users, groups, computers, and resources and services information. Active Directory authenticates the users when they log into domain computer. Okay, the database name, Active Directory database name is NTDS.DIT. NTDS.DIT, New Technology Directory Service Directory Information Tree. Authentication protocols. We are doing authentication. That is, authentication protocols are Kerberos and LDAP. Kerberos port number is 88. LDAP port number is 389. Okay, so these are the main Active Directory points. Okay, of course, you will, if you search in a Google what is an Active Directory, you'll find certain information that is also correct, but not exactly what is Active Directory. Now, what information you will find? Active Directory is a Microsoft service. Yes, it is a Microsoft service. It is from 2000 server, Windows Server 2000 onwards. the service we call it as a Active Directory service. And the name is changed. In 2000, 2003, it is an Active Directory. This Active Directory is changed to ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. Like nowadays, we don't have Active Directory, we have a Active Directory Domain Services. From 2008 server onwards, 2008 server onwards. So Windows servers are started from Windows NT 2000, 2003, 2008 like that. So Windows NT time, we have different names are there. Instead of NTDS.DIT database kind of stuff, we have a SAM database. Authentication is Kerberos there. Here it is NTLM authentication. We are dealing with the NetBIOS names only. Just it's information, guys. So not very important. Important is here. Of course, Active Directory name is introduced in a Windows Server 2000. The name changed in 2008 server. With this server 2008 server onwards, Active Directory domain services, Active Directory different services, totally 5 services. One of the thing is Active Directory domain services. What are the remaining is Active Directory certification service, federation service, right management service, lightweight directory access service. There is a totally 5 names are there in Active Directory in 2008 onwards. So one of the thing is our Active Directory domain services. AD is equal to ADDS. Okay. Guys, again, so what is an Active Directory? Active Directory database stores information about users, groups, computers, and services, resources, kind of stuff. Okay. Active Directory authenticates users when they log into domain computers. Active Directory database name is NTDS.DIT, New Technology Directory Service, Directory Information Tree. Active Directory authentication protocol, Kerberos and LDAP. Active Directory authentication protocols, Kerberos and LDAP. Active Directory is a Microsoft service. Active Directory is introduced in Server 2000. It is there in the Server 2000 and 2003 server also. The name changed in a Server 2008 onwards. It is Active Directory. It is domain services. Active Directory domain services. Okay. And small additional guys here. Guys, understand Active Directory. What is an answer? How to tell an answer? It is 1:30 guys, almost. Only 2 points only have to tell. And people are silent. I don't know. Okay. Azure AD. Azure AD. Azure AD is a thing is there. Guys, Azure AD means Azure is Microsoft public cloud. Microsoft having their own private cloud products are there, but in a Microsoft public cloud like AWS, AWS is a public cloud. Same way like a Microsoft is a main organization, Azure public cloud. You want a Active Directory kind of services from cloud, then it is Azure AD. So Azure AD means Active Directory services from Azure cloud. Okay. So if you cannot able to build your own server and server operating system licensing and redundancy planning, storage planning, network planning, public access planning, these are all so much of burden on the organization. So your organization don't want to go with that much infrastructure management, employee management kind of stuff. So infrastructure management, security management. So your organization do not want to bear that much. So what they will do it, so they can also easily move to Azure AD kind of stuff. Okay, what is Azure AD? Active Directory Services from Azure Cloud. And what is the cloud is also very important, guys. So what is the cloud? Benefits of cloud, advantages of cloud over the on-premises servers or data centers. That is also very important. So what is the cloud? Benefits of cloud, advantages of cloud over the on-premises server or a data centers. Cloud service models like a infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. What is the difference between these services? Examples. Who is providing these kind of services? Next, type of services, like type of cloud models. Cloud models, not service model, cloud models are a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, community cloud. Different type of service provider, cloud service provider, both public, private, or a infrastructure as a service, or a platform as a service, or a software as a service providers. Compulsory check it, guys. Already I told authentication and authorization. Authentication means verification of identity, username and password kind of stuff. Once you got authenticated, so we can give access permissions, right? Whether user is able to access or deny, allow access or deny access kind of stuff. Okay, so that is called a authorization. What is an authorization? So user can able to access or unable to access kind of stuff. Access permission is there or not. Allow or deny the access permissions. Next class, guys, tomorrow we'll see DHCP and DNS. I don't know why people are completely silent. We don't get not. Okay, so that's it.